Sean Strickland recently did an interview with MMA Junkie where he groveled and begged for a Khamzat Chimaev title fight, which I actually would love to give him. But this is one of the most humiliating, embarrassing, pathetic interviews I have seen from Sean Strickland. He's essentially crying that Khamzat Chimaev is a Muslim champion. He is crying that there's Muslim fighters in the UFC, like the UFC wasn't built on fighters worldwide stepping in the cage and finding out who's the best. And to top it all off, he claims that he is the only guy who can defeat Khamzat Chimaev. The cope in this interview, the embarrassment in this interview is really a new all-time low for Sean Strickland, the ultimate beta male. We're going to check it all out in this video, and I didn't even mention the best part. Sean Strickland, we know that he's ducked Khamzat Chimaev before. We know that he has ducked Robert Whittaker before. We know that he has turned down Caio Borralho. We're friends. I don't want to fight Caio. He is also brutally ducking the Israel Adesanya rematch and talking a bunch of crap about Khamzat Chimaev. We're going to break it all down in this video. The first thing we're going to start with is him talking about Khamzat Chimaev. And of course, because Khamzat Chimaev is from the Caucasus region, because Khamzat Chimaev is Muslim, Sean Strickland doesn't like him. He can't really ever articulate why he doesn't like Khamzat other than Khamzat's a bully. Khamzat says, but of course, because he's from that region of the world, he's got to call him a cave dweller. Oh, good one, Sean. That's just filthy. But let's listen to the first clip.
I think what annoys me about Chimaev, there's nobody that could beat him. You know, I've trained with all the guys he's gonna fight. I've trained with Chimaev, dude. For one round, the guy could grapple. For one round, dude, once you get over that one round of scramble, he just quits.
Tell that to DDP. I would have loved Mike Bond to be like, well, what happened in the DDP fight then? Because he raw dogged him for 5 rounds straight. The guy that whooped your fucking ass for 5 rounds. The guy that your coach had to beg you on the stool to actually try to fight against. The guy who out-grappled you, by the way. And also the guy that you said in an interview with the Schmo dominated you and submitted you multiple times in the grappling. And it was super competitive in the striking. I'd play that clip, but I played it a million times. I'm done with that clip. Okay, let's continue.
This turns into a kickboxing match, like what he did with the 55 or the 70, or what's his name? Gilbert.
Yeah.
Like once he realizes he can't fucking maul you and you don't quit, he quits and turns into a boxing match. And I just don't
like what happened in the Gilbert fight. The guy that he beat, the guy that he never really tried to grapple against because Gilbert has good BJJ, and clearly Khamzat thought he would just win the striking battles, which he did win the majority of the striking battles and won the fight. Where in there did he quit? It was a crazy hard-fought 3 rounds with Khamzat winning the 3rd round. Khamzat went to war. You could even say Khamzat was ready to bleed for you guys. And he wasn't talking out of his asshole like you, Sean. So it's just funny saying Khamzat quit in the Gilbert Burns fight. Had to pretend Gilbert Burns is a 55er even though he's at 170 for a bit at that point. And meanwhile, all this dude does is go out there and jab and teep all fight. He quit in an undeserved title shot against Dricus Du Plessis, where Du Plessis embarrassed him. But let's continue.
I don't know if there's anybody at that division other than me that knows what it's like to grapple those fuckers. I've been training with those fucking cave dwellers my whole fucking life, dude. These motherfuckers live in this gym, dude. So it kind of saddens me that, the fucking Frenchman ain't doing it.
Yeah, you don't give Nasruddin much of a chance. They do fight.
No fucking way. Who else? Who else is
I think if he wins, he could.
I fucking dude
Fluffy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine that me and Fluffy might be going at it. I don't know, dude. I would imagine that's a fight to make.
Yeah.
But
Fluffy's on a winning streak. You're 1-2 in your last 3 fights. You should be nowhere close to a title. You got 2 undeserved title shots. And he's talking about fighting Fluffy, who should have been fighting RDR, but he got injured. He pulled out for the 26th time. Fluffy is who people pretend Khamzat is. But, of course, has to call him a cave dweller. But he does recognize the fact. He's like, yeah, nobody can beat Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I think that is a reasonable opinion to have. But imagine Sean Strickland say, yeah, nobody can beat him but me. But me. And he's saying, yeah, he'll quit. If you don't let him maul you and it'll be a kickboxing match. I pulled up this picture. This, for those of you who don't know, this is Dricus du Plessis taking down Sean Strickland with ease, which he did multiple times in the first fight. This guy right here just got 10-8'd 5 rounds straight by Khamzat Chimaev outside of the 5th round because Mark Goddard bailed him out. So really 4 rounds straight. This guy right here in the green shorts who is mauling Sean Strickland here, easily taking him down with a double leg, is the guy that got treated like a baby, that got made to look like a trash can by Khamzat Chimaev. What an absolute joke. Anyway, let's jump ahead because in the next clip, he's asked about Adesanya. Obviously, just mentioned Fluffy, and he's blatantly ducking Israel Adesanya. Now, there was a rumor a while ago that the UFC already offered this fight, and Strickland turned it down. There's a reason why he turned it down. He's now suspended until November, December. That's not the reason he turned it down. I'm going to get to the reason he turned it down here in a second because he turned it down before that suspension ever happened. But you can see, he's like, no, I don't want that fight. I don't want that fight at all. I'm going to break that down for you in a second because this dude is pathetic and weak.
Anger management, or are you going to be done in December and eligible to fight next year?
It's more, what do they call, man? Like, I don't want Izzy. I'm not going to fight Izzy. It's just, I think it's an easier fight for me, but like I want to fight that little Chechen whore.
I'm not going to fight Izzy. Nah, I don't want to fight Izzy. The reason that he ducked Izzy, the reason that he's ducking the Izzy rematch is because Sean Strickland will forever be known as the guy that beat Israel Adesanya. That's what he will be known for. Adesanya did not take him seriously. Adesanya was in rehab in the lead up to that fight. Adesanya was injured. There's a bunch of reasons why, but nonetheless, Sean Strickland won that fight fair and square. He got a decision win. He won the middleweight title. Never defended it. Immediately got bullied by Dricus du Plessis, but that's not the point here. If he rematches Izzy, even though this isn't necessarily fair, I don't even think this is fair. If he rematches Izzy and Izzy whoops him, if Izzy beats him, that win, that historic win, that Sean Strickland's going to hang his entire career on, is going to be erased by the fan base, fair or not. And again, I don't think it's fair. So he's thinking, why do I want to fight Izzy again? Because now if I lose, they're going to erase my only good win in my entire career. That's why he doesn't want that fight at all. But let's continue.
Just like, so that's kind of where I'm at. I want to fight somebody like Fluffy. Fluffy puts me in title contention, especially with him, because all he does, he's like the American he's like the American Chimaev. So you go and I just out wrestle that fucker for like 5 rounds, and then.
So he wants Fluffy because he's the American Chimaev. He's ducking the Adesanya rematch. He says he wants Fluffy to put him in title contention. Now I'm going to be honest. Sean Strickland getting a 3rd undeserved title shot against Khamzat Chimaev is actually what I want. It's actually what I would love. I would welcome that. Book it at the White House. Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland at the White House. But to act like he's in title contention with 1 win when he's gotten, he's been in 2 title fights in his last 3 fights and lost 2 of them and got dominated in 1 of them. I mean, got dog walked and refused to fight. Where are the fans that are like, man, you don't deserve a title shot? You're boring. Well, Sean Strickland's boring and he loses. His coach begged him to fight in between rounds and he still did not fight because he's a weak, pathetic beta male. Anyway, let's jump ahead. There's more. There is more. We're going to just jump a little bit ahead. I'm just skipping some of the dead air here and some of the crazy stuff. Let's continue.
Yeah, Izzy said he was moving on from he wanted to fight you, but do you just not see the upside? I mean, you fought him.
Dude. Like, he's coming off losses, man. Like,
so are you. So are you. So I get it. Okay, he's coming off more losses, but so are you. And that's the biggest fight you can get right now. But again, he doesn't want it erased from his resume.
I think Izzy just, go paint your fucking nails, pet your dog, like go be a superstar. Like, I want to fight Chimaev. And, a lot of it I feel almost like a personal vendetta because I'm the only fucking one that beat Chimaev.
Does anyone else find that funny? He thinks he's the only guy. Need I go back? This right here, this weak, pathetic beta male, is the guy that he thinks he's the guy to beat Chimaev. What a joke, man! What an absolute joke! And he starts to go on a rant. What the real reason Sean Strickland hates Chimaev is because Chimaev's better than him, but also because he doesn't like that Chimaev is a foreigner. And also, he doesn't like Chimaev because he's Muslim. Because Sean Strickland is a piece of shit. this entire interview was essentially hateful, anti-Muslim jargon all jumbled up in a shitty, sporadic interview from a guy that cries after Dricus du Plessis talked a little bit of shit to him. But the real thing is, he's mad because Chimaev is a Muslim champion, and Sean Strickland does not like that at all. And he starts to admit it. He even goes outright and says it and then tries to deviate because he realized, oh God, I just lifted the veil here. But you'll see that in a second. He goes off about all Muslim fighters and cries that there's foreign fighters. And he actually starts to catch on to some truth, but he doesn't realize it. He doesn't realize it. But then he starts to realize it at the end of the interview, which we're going to get to. And the media member, Mike Bond, just shuts it down, even though it was actually the most interesting part of the interview. It's the last, 10 seconds of the interview, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
And again, Chimaev knows this, his camp knows this, everybody fucking knows this, dude. I'm the only one that fucking beat you. I've wrestled with all the guys that he's going to fight, and he's just going to fucking steamroll them.
Everybody knows that Sean Strickland's the toughest matchup for Chimaev. Please, UFC. I will never advocate for an undeserved title shot until now. I wouldn't mind this at all. I'd love to watch Chimaev just brutalize Sean Strickland. I think he subs him in the first round. I think it'd be worse than the Whitaker performance for Sean Strickland, at least. And he's saying, I'm the only guy. The real thing is, Sean hates him because he's Muslim. He hates him because he's from the Caucasus region. And also, Sean wants a paycheck. He knows Khamzat Chimaev is one of the biggest names in the sport, and he wants that paycheck. So he's desperate for another undeserved title shot, a title which he said he doesn't care about, but he's ducked and sat out and begged for title fights that he didn't deserve. Think about how much he begged for that DDP rematch. I won the first fight, begged for it. Then went out there and refused to fight the entire fight. Now he thinks he's earned the opportunity to step in there with undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Okay.
You do get that fight? Is there any fight you've ever been more confident going into than you would be against him?
No, it's going to be a hard fight for sure. Even when we spar, it's going to be a hard fight. You're going to see the first round just a brutal wrestling match. And after that, it's going to turn into a striking match.
Yeah, DDP did that, right? DDP did that, right? Okay.
Dude, it's so offensive, dude, that there's just so many fucking Muslim, no, guys, don't get me fucking started.
Look, right there, lifted the veil. He is mad. Think about how stupid this is. People think they're like, Joey, man, all you do is glaze the Dagestanis. You glaze the Muslims. Think about how illogical this is. He doesn't like that a Muslim is champion. It's offensive to him that a Muslim is champion. Think about how low IQ and pathetic you have to be to not like a champion simply because of their religion. It's embarrassing. It is pathetic. It is humiliating. It is low IQ. I mean, seriously. And Sean Strickland says these types of things because it translates to the MMA community. A lot of the MMA community eats this stuff up. They're like, yeah, man. Oh, man, Sean's so based, bro. He's so based, man. He's hating on someone because of their religion, man. The Muslims, man. And he goes on to more. He tries to deviate, but he can't help himself because he's so low IQ. And I guess his daddy scrambled his brain when he was a kid. Let's continue.
Starting this shit, dude. America, UFC started in America by a Brazilian, but they're kind of Americans. But no, it just kind of annoys me too that the direction the UFC goes, they just outsource. And even this is moving forward. They just outsource UFC to these poor countries, and these guys go fight 10-10 on the contenders, and they go back and live in Rio, and they just made 20-30 grand living like fucking kings, Right.
This is Sean Strickland is acting like he's smart here, and I actually think he thinks he's making a good point. He's like, yeah, man, they're outsourcing it. He's not even making any sense, but the grain of truth that really is at the core of this dumb ass diatribe that he goes on here is he's essentially saying the UFC is underpaying, is what he's really saying. But somehow, in his messed up mind, he's translating the UFC underpaying fighters to let's blame foreign fighters, Muslim fighters, Dagestani fighters because of the low pay. Makes absolutely no sense, but let's continue.
Where it's you're really limiting the U.S. market because you're not paying these guys any money. So you got little Joaquin Jackson who has a choice, go play fucking football or go be a UFC champion, the man's going to go play football, like 10 and 10, dog. Like, what are you going to pay for rent for like 3 months, Like, and then you got to pay your coaches, your management. So it annoys me that we have outsourced UFC so much, these fucking poor-ass foreigners, and we're really like, at some point when the entire roster is fucking from Durkistan and Ahmed's, like, at some point, we still, like, at what point do you give a fuck? Like, what?
This is crazy because, again, he's essentially saying the UFC's low pay is due to the foreigners or the Muslims or, whatever names he's throwing out there. And then he proceeds to act like, well, nobody cares about them anyway. It really doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's the UFC underpaying their fighters. But no, Sean, rather than stand up to Daddy Dana White, rather than say anything bad about the UFC, which he actually starts to it later in this interview, which we're going to show, he'd rather just say, oh, man, the low pay in the UFC is because the Muslims, man. It's because the foreigners, brother. What a piece of shit. What a total piece of shit. It makes no sense. And he's acting like he's intelligent for saying it. Like, yeah, man, they're outsourcing the labor. And that's why 10 and 10. And there's guys from America going to other sports. Yeah, because the UFC pays dog shit. That sounds like a UFC problem. Not the guys coming in to make the money that they can. It makes no sense at all. Like, the UFC pay is not low because the Dagestanis are coming into the sport. That's not the way it works at all. It's flawed logic completely. But let's continue. There's more.
Once there's no more Chuck Liddells, like once there's no more like the John Jones is, like, do you really want to watch fucking Ankalaev, Maga, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck if you're the best fighter in the world, dude. I'd rather go watch a hockey game and watch an American fucking the Knights play.
Do you want to represent America at the White House card, or?
That immediately change the topic. But let's rewind that back because this is really just lifting the veil here. Really lifting the veil here for Sean Strickland. Let's listen to that one more time.
There's no more like the John Jones is. Like, do you really want to watch fucking Ankalaev, Maga, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck if you're the best fighter in the world, dude. I'd rather go watch a hockey game and watch an American fucking the Knights play.
So essentially you're a racist, xenophobic, anti-Muslim, just total piece of shit. Like, I don't care about who the best fighters in the world are. I just want them to be white Americans. Like, man, I didn't know. I really didn't know getting fucked by your dad could make you this fucked up. I really didn't know that. Sean Strickland is teaching me something every day. What a total and complete piece of shit. Acting as if like, oh, all I want to see is white American fighters or American fighters, not necessarily even white. But I don't understand, just because there's Dagestanis or, whatever other country, Brazilian, whatever country you want to name, Russian, African, that doesn't stop Americans from being able to have their opportunities in the UFC. But he doesn't care if they're the best fighter in the world because of their name or where they're from or their religion. Meanwhile, this is the same dumb skinhead that goes out there and jabs and teeps for 5 rounds, is literally one of the most boring fighters on the entire roster. Probably the most prominent boring fighter on the roster, number one. In terms of name, recognition, and boring fights, it's Sean Strickland at number one. But instead of realizing this makes no sense, he'd rather just say, man, can't believe the UFC's letting Muslims fight, man. Like, that makes no sense. It's just so idiotic and low IQ. It really is. Let's skip ahead. There's more. He goes at Khamzat Chimaev more about where he's living or not living and where he's fleeing and dictator this and dictator that.
Bye, dude, you fucking coward. You flee your country, you run to Sweden, you go back, you have to go suck off a dictator, and then you fucking have to go hide from your dictator in Dubai. Like we just don't need that as a champion, bro. Like, that's real bad. Like,
he's trying to make up reasons why Chimaev shouldn't be champion. And he's just saying a whole lot of nothing. I can't even break this down. Essentially what he's saying, but he's trying to pretend like there's something more to it, is Khamzat Chimaev has moved around to different countries and trained in different places. but his home where his family is, where he's from originally, even if he doesn't live there, is Chechnya. And of course, he has to have a relationship with Ramzan Kadyrov, I believe is how you pronounce his name, because if not, there will be severe consequences. But at the end of the day, Sean Strickland is just saying nothing here. It's like, okay, what are you going to say? Oh, I don't like him because of the country he's from? I mean, like, the whole, oh, you don't criticize Chimaev for being friends with a dictator. What else is he supposed to do? Get murdered? But again, a whole lot of nothing. Strickland can't articulate why he doesn't like Khamzat, because he doesn't like Khamzat because Khamzat whooped him in the gym while being from the Caucasus region and while being Muslim. And Sean Strickland's just a piece of shit. That's exactly what it is. Even in this interview, and we're not even going to check all this out because then we're going too much down the rabbit hole. He's like, yeah, man, this one time Khamzat texted me and said, don't disrespect my country, and this is why I don't like him. Like, bro, you begged DDP for forgiveness. You DM'd DDP privately and begged him for forgiveness. And please, I'm sorry, don't talk about my daddy. Please, I'll do anything. And then publicly, after you did that privately, you publicly threatened him and acted like he stopped doing what he was doing because of the threat, when really he stopped doing what he was doing because he felt bad for you. And then he realized, because he's smart enough to realize what you're doing, he brutally exposed you. I made an entire video on that. Look on my channel. Just search it up. You'll find it. Leaked Messages is in the thumbnail. But yeah, I mean, this is just pathetic. There's a couple more things I want to check out here. I mean, this guy is just coping nonstop. And listen to this. I mean, I nearly busted out laughing when I heard this. Listen to this here.
Solve right now at middleweight.
No, man, he just grapples. I'm one of the best grapplers in the UFC. I don't do it, but I'm one of the best grapplers in the UFC. Really, the reason why I want to fight him out of anybody is just to say, all right, 25 minutes of like the American Fluffy or the American Chimaev. Like,
he's one of the best grapplers in the UFC. And Fluffy's just like Chimaev. That's an absolute joke. Fluffy has grappling, has pressure, little bit different stylistic matchup. But it's just crazy to hear him say, I'm one of the best grapplers in the UFC, and this is what's happening to him. And his striking is dog shit as well, by the way. Okay? It's technical boxing, but no real power, no real output. People act like he has godlike cardio when he really doesn't. It's because he doesn't throw anything the entire fight, even when his coach is begging him in his corner to fight. But he doesn't anyway. The last thing I want to show you guys actually really pissed me off. I watched these interviews in their entirety. By the way, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Mike Bond is usually pretty good. I got to be honest, he's usually pretty good. This is the state of MMA media. This is one of the best MMA media members who works for a mainstream outlet. And this is what he does when a UFC fighter starts to actually criticize the UFC. Just shuts it down immediately, man. This makes me so sad. I really wanted to hear more of this. Like, another minute of this would have been great. A follow-up question would have been great, not shutting it down. Listen to this, because this is true. Sean's actually spitting facts here.
it's like, I love UFC, and I can't complain because I'm in a position in my life that is so fucking good. Mm-hmm. But it's like they fuck athletes, 100%, dude. 100% they fuck athletes.
Yeah, that's something we could talk about all day, Sean. But I appreciate your time. It's always been great to see.
Talk about it. You scared to get banned? That's something we could talk about all day. Talk about it. This is a 13-minute interview. You couldn't extend it 2 minutes? What do you mean by that, Sean? Can you please elaborate by that? What do you mean by that? Because they do. They screw a lot of the athletes over. But instead of saying, what exactly do you mean? Sean, please tell me. He's like, oh, no, we can talk about that all day. All right, Sean, thank you for your time. Don't worry, I'll sit here and platform you while you shit on people because of their religion or because they're from a different country. Even though UFC was built, even though it's a U.S. company, it's been a worldwide company historically, bringing in people from all over to see who's the best in the world, not the best in the United States. We'll let you spew all that bullshit. But the second you start to say anything negative about the UFC, we'll just shut it down. We can talk about that all day, Sean. We'll talk about it all day. Makes no sense. Sean's groveling and begging for a Khamzat Chimaev fight. I don't think he would like it if he got it, but I wish they would book it for the White House card. That'd be my dream main event. I know it's crazy. I know I'm advocating for undeserved title shot. Give me Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, UFC White House main event. That would be a banger. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching.